Hey guys, we are doing a quote-unquote top-end rebuild tutorial because I'm not actually rebuilding my top end, but I am going to be replacing some gaskets in it because they're leaking. So I thought I would go ahead and show y'all how to do that on the Apollo RFZ 110. As you can see, I've already gotten the plastics and tank off. Next, I'll have to take out the oil and the carburetor off, and you will want to take the exhaust off as well. All right, now that you got your oil drained and your carburetor out of the way, I recommend going ahead and just taking this skid plate off because you're gonna have to do it later. All right, now that you have removed the skid plate, you're gonna wanna take this off, this cover off, and this off so you can have it in the correct timing position. As well as while you're taking the cover off here and here, you are also going to want to take this cap off. You can take the bottom one off if you want, because there's one on the bottom, but it's not really needed. All you need is to take off the top one. Okay, now that you have everything off, all the covers off, you're gonna wanna make sure it's in time. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna line this little dot right here up to a little notch over here in the side casing, side of the top end. And then there should be a T. See that T right there? You're gonna line it up with that line right there. Now with 4 strokes, it's in top dead center twice. So right now it is in top dead center, but it's in the wrong top dead center. You're going to want to turn it over, if I can get it to go, to this side. Now, and so as you saw, this slowly starts to rise and come closed. That's how you know you're in the right top dead center. Now you are going to take these 3 bolts out when it's at top dead center, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the bolts up here off. Now that you have the screws out of the timing sprocket, you're going to want to take a pick or a screwdriver and pop it off. So now that you have that popped off, we're gonna pop these 4 screws out and that screw. But first you gotta make sure you take out your spark plug. All right, now that you have those screws removed, we're gonna be taking this head off, but I do recommend putting a pan or a bowl under because it will drip oil. So we're gonna, when we do this, we're gonna make sure that this doesn't fall back into the engine. It should just kind of dangle. Okay, now that we have the head off, or the top part of the head, we are going to be taking this bolt out, and there should be a little plastic tensioner in there, and then we're also gonna be taking this bolt out. Also, there is a gasket right here. Okay, now that you are this far, you can either go ahead and pull the piston all the way off, or in my case, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop the piston off and keep it in here so I don't have to recompress the rings when putting it back on. And to do that, there's a little clip inside that you're gonna take either a pick or tweezers and pop it out, and then the shaft should slide out of the middle. Okay, now that you're at this stage, which I accidentally pulled my piston out, what you're gonna wanna do is find the new piston, put the rings on, and then you're gonna wanna look up a ring gap diagram for a 4-stroke. And then you're gonna have to put them in the right positions and compress it on. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, compress the rings on the off the bike back into the bottom end, and then just basically slide the whole thing on and put the pin back in. All right, now that you are on the reassembly stage, if you ordered new gaskets, what you can do is either scrape all the old junk off of here. Or you can take gasket maker and basically put a light thin coat on the gasket on both sides, and then it should seal up properly. All right, like I said, thin layer of gasket maker on the gasket, and now this is ready for install. Now that you've applied the new or old gasket, if you're doing it my way, I'm gonna put more gasket sealer on the outside of this. But first, you're gonna take your timing sprocket, basically kind of put it in where you think it's gonna be at top dead center. For example, that's how I think it's gonna be at top dead center with the line there. So now you can set this back down and let it droop. And then apply the new gasket maker and then slide the piston cylinder back on. All right, now we're back to putting the head back on. We're gonna slide the shaft back in and put the clip back in. Pin installed. Now we're gonna take the timing chain, slide it kind of inside there, and then try to put the rubber bushing. Now that you are here, it's time to put the head on. But if you've bought a new head along with your piston, you will need to make sure the valves are right. So you will need to make sure the intake valve is at 0.003 and the exhaust valve is at 0.004. Once you get that, you can start putting it on. And the way you're going to start putting the head on is with this gasket. You will not be putting gasket maker on this one. So you are going to start by sliding this on and putting the timing chain through, just like this. Next, you're going to want to make sure that you have the rubber in that hole. There's a little rubber gasket, which I have right here. So you're going to want to make sure it goes and stays in that hole. All right, now that you're onto this part, you are going to take the timing sprocket, put it up here, and try to slide this down as quickly as possible, and then hook this back onto here to help give it some tension whenever you tighten everything back down. At this point, to get the sprocket on, you're going to take a flathead screwdriver, I can get it in the hole, pull it up, and basically kind of punch it into the hole, pull, oh, dang it, came off, to get it back on, there, as you can see. Now, as you can tell, mine is in time, top center, so it's timed what looks to be relatively right. But now we're gonna put that screw back in, put the cap back on here, and put the nuts on. All right, now that you have all your bolts on, you're gonna make sure that it's in time. Once again, lining the T up with the notch, and lining the dot up with the notch. And as you can tell, we're in time, so we're gonna put the screws back. All right, now that you have your screws put back in, you're gonna be putting the covers back on, there, and there. And then with that, you're gonna, of course, put your exhaust back on, your skid plate back on, and your carburetor. All right, so in case you did not realize when you took this side cover off, there are 3 side bolts. So the longer one, or longer 2, are gonna go in the top and bottom left, and then the short one is gonna go down here. All right, guys, this is the end of the video. This is how you do your gasket fix or top end rebuild. I won't be running the bike because my gas tank has a leak in it and I'm trying to fix it. I presume y'all can figure out how to put back on the carburetor and skid plate, because that's not too hard. If y'all are looking for more of an in-depth video, there's a guy by the name of KGRowlo, KGROWLO. He has a more in-depth top end rebuild on this exact same bike. I'll put a link into the description to his channel. So I hope this helped. Bye.